Hello, everyone. My name is Kyla Vieira, and this is my professional development project on pronunciation, alphabet, and translanguaging. This was part of a mini series that I did for my district based problem 2 years ago when I first started the TESOL program, when we had to develop an idea after discussing with colleagues. They best thought what I could do to support classroom teachers was kind of give professional developments on how to best support ELLs in the classroom. So that is what I did. I did three. I called it a mini series because there was three professional developments that I hosted after school with colleagues. This was number two. I called it Crash Course in ELL. There was a mix of specialists, a librarian, and the art teachers, special ed teachers, student teachers, and a few classroom teachers. We all came together in the library, and overall, it was a very positive experience. I started out by having them do a Google form up to kind of see what they knew, and overall, some teachers had some ideas. The questions were things like what is the best practice, how many phonemes are in the English language, things like that. First, I discussed translanguaging, and I talked about the importance of this theory because this is one of the most important language acquisition theories, in my opinion. To kind of see that a student in your classroom is going in between one language and the other, and the importance of understanding that they're not only thinking in one language, their brain is going in between the two. And it negates the idea that students should neglect their first language while learning a second. The two can help support each other instead of fighting. I use the idea of roller skating versus ice skating. You use what you know to help support you with the other. I wanted this to be beneficial for teachers, so I gave different ideas of what this would look like in their classroom and how to best support students with translanguaging. I wanted it to be effective for them, so I gave, ideas such as pairing a newcomer with a student who may speak their home language if you are that lucky, or um, allowing students to complete assignments in their L1 and then translating it to English, and how this can help support their content development as well as their language development. Then I discussed code switching, and then I discussed different alphabets and the importance of understanding that the students in front of you may know a completely different alphabet than the Latin and Roman alphabet that we know in English. Sometimes there's a few languages that are written right to left rather than right to left to right, and how such as the Sinhala alphabet is written left to right just like ours that we use in English, but instead of writing letters together, the characters are written on top of each other or next to each other to create new words and meanings. This was a meme that I used to kind of break up and give us a good laugh while we were discussing, and I said, when your script writing student tries to teach you and you can only write the ABCs. As a teacher who only knows English, it is very humbling to have students who know three languages in front of you. And then I discussed developing language, sounds, and articulation. And I used a video from a TED talk that we watched in this course about the baby who are learning Japanese versus English, and how the different language inflections affect our native tongue, and how you can have a student who might lack articulation. So in English letter sound. So, an aha moment that I had with a colleague that I shared was the sound of D or F is not in the Arabic language, so this can lead to mispronunciations. And this is something that I kind of discussed how, for best practice, it is better to not interrupt students while they are speaking, but rather wait and kind of pull them aside and do a mini lesson on how to incorporate that in their speaking or writing. So, for this student, they write correctly the sound F, but she has a hard time pronouncing it, and it sounds more like an S because, and I emphasized how her native tongue does not make that formation, and how it's going to be a learned position for her pronunciations. And then I included the importance of a strong phonics program, and how different ways are to use mouth movement, pictures, or mini mirrors to help students understand the placement when they're supposed to be making sounds, and those language, and how different languages have the different sounds. that they might have to learn. And then I did a kind of post test, and we did true or false questions, and there was 5 of them, the same 5 that they did in the beginning on that Google form. Overall, this was an extremely eye-opening and positive experience for me to discuss with colleagues all of the things that I've been learning and kind of share that information. um, I, when I created this idea of doing a 3-part mini series 2 years ago, I didn't really know how much I would learn and appreciate what I have learned and be able to articulate it to my colleagues. And it was really, I felt like I learned and grew from it and was able to share so much about what I'm passionate about. And also, my colleagues shared how it kind of shifted their mindset about having ELLs in the classroom and how they can appreciate the language and more positively teach these students. And that was really what I wanted from this. And overall, researching was really easy. I took from sources that we use. Color in Colorado is always a great one that I would use, and just searching different things that I might have looked at a few years ago that or a few courses ago that I kind of forgot about translanguaging or things like that. But overall, I highly enjoyed this assignment, and I hope in the future that I can discuss um, how to support ELLs in the classroom again. Thank you.